Dun, dun, dun. I go in here and make sure everything's hooked up. Hey guys. Go in here and make sure everything's hooked up. All right, looks good. So I'm in one of those moods tonight. I've seen some shit and I gotta say it. Gotta bring it out, gotta talk about it. Just gonna get on my nerves, you know, I'm gonna say it. So I'm going into it. Let's talk about Ursula, the Sea Witch. Elena Denon. She's starting her shit up again. So let's call that out again, because, you know, that's a subject I like to pull out, because when I see bullshit, I call it bullshit. So, and again, prove me wrong on this one. This is going to get interesting because everybody has figured out her bullshit. And now she's trying to cover up her ass to take pages down and interviews down so she looks good and makes it look like they're on the outs on the information. We know that's not true. So now that everybody has their balls out of your purse, your true lies are coming to the surface. And I'm going to say it once and I'm going to say it again. You want to annihilate this whole situation. Anytime on any show, I will channel in seconds, believably seconds, against your theater presentation that you have going on. Because let me tell you, I can tell you right now, all these damn aliens want to throw you under the bus and throw you back into the sea where you belong at the bottom, Ursula. Cool your crap again. So everybody sees who you are and what you have done. It's all theater. It's all been theater. The whole music industry did not work from that point. And now you bailed out on that, and then you went to this industry. And that's not working for you either, because you know why? Lies do not add up. So I say, bring it. You pick the platform. I'll be there to channel. But I bet you won't do it. I'm doing it. I'm saying it again and again and again, because I've been calling this out for a long time. I don't know how many times I've had to say this over and over. You're full of shit. Full of shit. So, anyway, go over and look at Dr. Salas talking about Elena Denon trying to discredit another person. Go over there and support him, because he has seen the light in such a big way and is pointing out the truth now. And it feels good to see that. And it actually is changing his page and the way things are forming with that energy of reversing and looking at the truth for what it is. So, yeah, go support him. And because this is one I'm just tired of. I'm tired of lies. I'm tired of the bullshit over and over and over and over. Like I said, I'm just going to say this. And this is the thing. Anybody that really has to channel or get information or do the work, and it really has to verify the verification. You can't make up stories. You can't make up that aliens or you're sexually attracted to aliens and they're, it's just, you have gone over on all this shit. And I'm sick of seeing it. We're all sick of seeing it. So we'll settle it. Bring a platform and we'll do the channeling. We'll see. Cut your shit. So, Elena Denon, yeah, Ursula. Go look at Dr. Salas' page and what he talked about. I think it was either today or yesterday, but he's calling it out too. The bullshit. Again and again. Like, see, the truth, you never have to make it up. You know, it just comes out naturally. It flows. The documentation backs it up. But the bullshit lies end up showing up at the very end of the truth. And people see it. Now you're throwing everybody under the bus. Everybody. I'm sure Danny's next too. So, anyway, now that I'm done with that rant on that end of things, whew, I don't know why it's doing this. Hold on a second. Just putting this back on. I don't know why it's chat is doing this. The overlay. Okay. So anyway. So let's go into some more positive things. I went over some breakdowns of some predictions I pulled off. Sometimes when I want to go to the past and I want to look at current events that are happening right now in the world, and see what things have been checked off. And this is the thing that's big hitting right now. And I have to say it over and over. I posted on Instagram today, which was talking about New York. And there's a picture and a video on there and everything like that. But I've talked about that place for a while. And I'm going to go over the prediction on that because that's hitting very hard. And that was done in 2022 or 2023 that I did that prediction on New York, did the drawing. Now, flooding. It was in New York, it was only to the first level, but you had to get up to the second level to get out of the water. It was very important that you did that. And then, and that it was showed that the ice would encap cars, everything. And then it would go down into subway areas and stuff like that. So it's kind of like an ice age for a day or two. What they were showing me, how this water just freezes up. And as that's playing out and rolling to a certain level of things, and I'm not trying to put panic out there, I'm just telling you this storm's coming because they keep showing me that. If you go back to my Instagram, it's on there, on the post on that too. Sorry, I gotta get a drink here. Okay. So let me go over a couple questions here. The dread and anxiety people are having when you don't deal with your issues. You know, you just got to push it out and surface it. Don't try to suppress it and put it in. If you put it in here, you're going to feel it more. If you push it out like an energy and push it out, you'll be better. But if you push things in, it's going to get worse on the situation across the board. Okay, I want to go over a couple of these. I wanted to go with all these bigger downloads, but I'm like, I need to kind of go in the past because everything's surfacing more in that context of things. So this was, the post was breakdown actually 2020. Was written during a period of global shock, uncertain, and fear, the nervous system worldwide. So, we're in a surviving mode, which strongly influences interpretation and language. The compressed language of urgency, the word prediction creates expectation, these events, in an intel process of everything. So they marked the cabal abolishing the language, removing, they they're using different frequencies and different languages to adapt to us and to get into us and get into the energy and feed the fear narrative on that. They're the villains of the whole thing, and the emotional and the energy and all that process was going to happen. This was in 2020 when I put this. And then I put in the fear often projects through surveillance drone language. And that was another thing. Into technology, frequency shift do not require reinforcement, replacement, or control mechanisms. What are you seeing now? It is a AI war to a certain degree of things that they have implemented since I went over this in 2020. So often projects threat onto technology, frequency shift do not require enforcement, replacement, control mechanisms. The reflection lost trust in the institution as a whole. Fear systems rather than observant individuals, accountability, prediction outcome, never anchored. And that is the Masons and the cops section of that process. And then we go into the programming. The section contains truth mixed with fear, framing, awareness, required discernment, not rejection, but collapse of all the systems. Fear-based predictions, dramatic outcomes when no reaction anchors fear, dissolves silence, and is often confirmed. Fear-based, why not? Why isn't it happening? Fear-based predictions, dramatic outcome when there's no reaction, anchoring the fear, dissolving the silence, and often confirmation. The same patterns are repeated daily. Interpretations are followed by external events, confirmed through frequency shift and not danger. The fear prediction reality is rare, delivers into increased sensitivity and awareness to the signal and not just the collapse. So they set this forth in a strong way, and that's more of a vague interpretation. I'm going to kind of go over the bigger interpretation that I did. And it's just because this means a lot right now, what we're going into, what's happening right now. Let me get in here to this. So everybody's feeling fatigued and tired, but I'll get into the ship that turned into a nothing burger of nothing again. Wasn't going to happen. Nothing big came from the situation, just frequency. So you got to be aware when they're pushing something out and putting it right in your face. They're just trying to put a fear process in that. And we're not, we just can't play into that game. Okay. So I talked about the cabal. Everybody who thinks, who you think is alive is mostly not. In Hollywood, senators, congressmen pay attention to details in their behavior. This is March 23rd of 2020. The Masons, keep an eye on the police departments that have made deals. The Mason program, we, the people, will be stepping down. They will be stepping down and going to jail. Not we, the people, but they will be. There is a reason why cases do not get solved. They are paid not to be solved. And I know this in firsthand with the missing persons cases, expecting more drones to take over these positions in traffic stops, and human behavior cannot be trusted without surveillance anymore, in case the corporation is the example. We have to start from a fresh slate on things. So you're looking at New York, like I said, you're going to see drones, all the stuff. It's going to replace, everything's going to be surveilled in many levels. And when you look at this whole process that's going on, is higher technology coming in. Where do you look at everything in a divide of saying bad AI, good AI? That's the whole thing. So everybody's confused of where we need to lie on this situation on these subjects of AI? Well, you got to listen to your instinct on that process, and you got to test it to the brink of things. So it's very important when we get through this whole realm of things that we are going to have to give a little trust into the AI and see if it's consistent. And the thing is, with the old program, they put that in your head a long time ago. You can't trust AI. Don't do that. And I'll tell you why. Because it makes them do their job. It makes them not be able to get rid of any of their sabotage. It's all sabotage. They can't do the corrupt process anymore because everything is watched. And that is why they wanted this to be put in your head. This is bad. This is bad. Because they cannot steal anymore. And that was the thing about the quantum system coming online in that process. It's on a fairness level of things. And it divides us with them. I want you to think about that and how long they've been telling you AI is bad. And if it comes, AI will be bad. It's another program they're putting in front of you. But this is a process that we have to trust to get through and decide which one we need to follow and which system we need to trust. We can't advance as humans in our conscience at our level. We have to get through a process of advancing. And we have to start to trust these, I'd say, these systems have been around for a while and that other species have downloaded and gave us this quality of information, and we've been sitting on it for years to suppress and enslave people. And now that has to change. We can't go into the free world without a process of AI being involved, because you cannot trust the humans to do the right thing. They've been programmed not to. That's part of the problem. So most of your life, you've been programmed, from education to institutions, to the church, to the media facilities, all indoctrination. Now it is time for you to relate to the truth. Start stepping outside the box, seeing things through your own eyes. Take your own path. Confirm the truth. Most of us, when you want to see it, you got to see it for yourself. Google is a program. Do your research on all that. You can't trust Google's like that source everybody goes to. You got to stop doing that. You got to do more in-depth research on everything. We have to start at our fresh restart point and realize what we have been fooled every day. Your instinct is the best bet on all of this. Your gut, your feeling. We need to use that more, involve that more in everyday process is what you're doing. But this is a program. They have put in front of you what to trust and what not. I want you to really think about what they've told you is negative and what they've told you is positive. You need to really honestly look at stuff like that now in a different way. So, all I can say is creators always reside with the light and the truth. And now these programs are falling apart. And that's why you need to analyze and look at everything that they've been telling you since you were young. Everything you've been taught is a lie. And that's why it's important to listen to your instinct on this process. Hold on a second here. I'll tell you. So, so you look how fast advanced AI is changing. I mean, For even ads that you see anywhere, you have to look at the bottom to see if it's AI or if it's real. And then I think they're going to have to come with a rating system on that, because it's really going to confuse a lot of people on a lot of things. And you're already seeing that. Okay. We're off that one. Oh boy. Let's see what subject I want to go into. There's some biblical stuff that's happening that I wanted you guys to pay attention to. Go look at the deck clock. Pull up that Bible verse they got for you. I've been pulling up that information for a long time now. Let me get into this process over here. Hold on. I want to go over this because I keep repeating this Bible verse because it keeps showing itself over and over that we're going into in this process. Okay. Okay, let's go over some of this. Do I need to read my rawness, or do I need to put it into this? What do you guys think? I don't know. Yeah, I'll go with the original. Okay, so pyramids, ley lines. Big cities stand above everything in the conscience. So you could see that the pyramids and ley lines are getting activated, but we're not sure exactly where all the pyramids are on. We have an idea where everything is, but a lot is hidden, and that's the thing that needs to be revealed. Like I said, when we talked about the rainforest, I mean, that's what's one of them that they're showing that is there, and that's one of the drawings I've already started working on. When I present that, that's going to be a completely different situation on that. Let's see how they ride that out. Get rid of everything that is negative off this planet to raise the vibration. We already sounded the alarm, constantly playing until it is done. So that's what I'm talking about, that vibration and the hum. You hearing it, your undertone is hearing it. You're thinking it's just your ear, but there's a sound and a vibration. It's constant now. It's louder in certain areas, and then it shuts down again. They are all looking down and seeing the plates being put into action, because we're talking about the plates on this earth and how everything's shifting around and going in a different direction, all this stuff. So it's interesting, isn't it? So you look at the, and then you're looking at the mountains, the volcanoes, they're moving into the plate process system. And so all this we think is all new, but it's not. It's not new. To us, it's new. To this world, it's not. So it's interesting how you observe this and how you look at things. Are things going back the way they were before? How can something so beautiful as nature, like nature itself, be there? Be a city, intact with everything, and can be clear, all of a sudden be fast and gone. Just disappear. How does that happen? They have to release certain creatures. They have been put down in the inner process of these religious buildings, ley lines. Let's say what else? I guess mosques. There's a lot of things, and people are seeing stuff that they don't understand, that they've never seen before when it comes to stuff flying around now. Sorry. So here we go. So the top of the pyramid, there it is. It's all a circle of light, the circle of light. We need no interference, no opinion. What do you think? You think there's an activation going on right now? All these temples, all these pyramids, all these ley lines, all these volcanoes. They're talking about right here. Are we in this process? I think we are. I think we're there. Okay, so let's go down here. So they all are ascending on their own. Remember what they have to get out of here. There are white and gold pyramids in the sky, shimmering lights of crafts. They were always there. Dismantling will be able to procreate the air into a clear ocean, rejuvenation of the trees, the roots, the planet to be resurfaced, and it'll rise again the way it should have been. The voice of frequency is lighter than a monk's voice. Hold that thought. Hold that frequency. So then we go into the Golden City. So it says, talks about the art of the covenant. Go up to the gold steps, to the anchor of the gold of the covenant. The gold cities in the ground that is above. Show it like the sun. But is the city within the planet? That is the true question. The gold chest and 2 sparrows in a pyramid and 2 eagles and 2 angels carrying the gold chest. How does that get open? Meaning that part of art of the covenant is it has to do with the golden age, with that process. It is a part of that process. And this is the thing about this. The negative cannot breathe within this realm as the energy changes. Cannot reflect in that light. I mean, there were things they told you the truth about it, but that's why they say it in movies. They put the truth right out there and they show you. So you look at what's going to happen, what's happened this week. You look at all these earthquakes, all the water that's coming. And this is the thing about Oregon. I keep getting asked about that volcano that they think is going to erupt in the middle of the ocean. And every time I look at it, I just see this steam process happening. I do not see it blowing. I just see this steam process happening. On that side of everything, on the West Coast, it's the bridges, the roads, fires, of course, are going to happen there in this process. Okay, all concentrated on ascending. Remember what they have to get out of here. They are white and gold in the sky. So, you really got to pay attention to the sky. They keep hinting about what's happening in the sky. Remember, I told you to pay attention. Let me get you that drawing. So everything's shimmer. Shimmer, shimmer, shimmer. See how things look like they're something and they're not? There's just a mirror of everything. That's what I'm talking about. Pyramid after pyramid after pyramid. But is it a mirror that you'll see in the sky? And that's the whole thing with this process is, when I teach in my class, is like you have to accept the form that it is and don't relay it to the 3D process. The only way that your mind's going to accept this is I have to allow it to be what it is and accept what it is presenting to you. And at that time, you just take it in. You don't try to change it and make it reflect to something you saw in the past. Just let it sit and be still. Anything that you're seeing in the skies right now, don't relay it to some movie that you saw or anything here, because everything here has led you to be confused by it. And that's why I say when you do meditation or anything, you present yourself and look at it and take the energy in and let it be what it is. It doesn't have to have a title. It doesn't have to have a name. You just have to accept the way it looks and how it looks to you and how you're in the calmness, in the stillness, accepting that image as it presents. So the thing is, what is really going on right now? So everything's being dismantled. You see silver going up. You're seeing this flip happen. You know, everything's falling down and should be falling down, and everything that needs to be created is coming in. And I saw today that they had, and I don't know the state or where they were. It shows that Amazon, which I have on another paper with this prediction, that they're building a big facility. You know, and this is the thing I told you. Remember, the people that own these corporations, Trump implemented something. If you have been caught, any crimes against humanity, your bank account would be cleared out, your property would be cleared out. And this is the thing. Do you really think there's one person that owns Amazon anymore? These corporations, I want you to think about who. Let's go with X, Twitter. Do you think, do you really thought that after the X came in, do you think actually that they sold the property, that they sold the company? And I'm going to go back to that one. We're just going to have to go back to that prediction. Hold on. So I talked about this from the beginning on this situation. Let me see if I can find that one. I had this one in here. Hold on. Just be patient with me while I look this one up. Is that the same one? Nope. I have to go find it. So it talks about all the corporations and who's actually going to own them. It's the people. What do you actually own? What do the people actually own now? Assets, houses, properties. Look at everything in Hollywood. Look at how many people have been took down. Look where they're at. What do you think happened to their assets? All those assets are going back to the people. So I'm telling you. See if I can find this really quick, and I'm going to go over this. We talked about the property on this. So don't forget to go over and look at Dr. Salas's page. Read about that. Let me see. Is this it? This is in 23. Oh, there it is. Hold on just 1 second here. I'm going to have to take a shot at this one. Ooh, they got this down. The year might be off on this. Hold on. Weather. There will be a storm that hits Florida, Louisiana, Texas. Some land will never recover. There are presenting earthquakes will keep occurring for 6 months. That is not going to be easy. And then there, of course, the ones that comes from California, chaos, mudslides, flooding, earthquakes. So you were warned 3.5 years ago. You have to ride out the wave now, which is the issue that's happening right now. Okay, that's that one. Let's go into the money. They're going into the banking system of the money. Move money to small banks. Gold and silver will always be good. Ha! Investments will be gone. 5 years, there will be need for a new system. Bye-bye banks. Karma is coming. Insurance is another scam. It'll be gone. Sit back and see how that changes. So no expectations. Your insurance will be leveled. I wonder how much they're going to start to pay that back. What a scam that has been. And they're talking about the lands and the mortgages will be 100-year lease. Your children will have to continue the lease on the properties. Houses will become affordable. You'll see new home pods. Transportation will change everywhere. You'll have everything you need. Then people will bitch about being happy. I'm just saying. Okay. Let me go back in here. So we're in this process that you see going on right now. All this stuff's happening right now. The earthquakes, the banking systems, the mortgage, everything's dismantling. The storms are coming, waves are coming. All this stuff is we're in this process. You guys can go to my Instagram. You're just going to have to go through all of them because there's a bunch of it in there. And you want to look at the past predictions, and it has it all lined up in that process. So, but, so now we're in the times, and this is the thing that people are like, nothing's happening. Well, everything is happening, but it's a checklist of things, and this is the thing. You're starting to see the military come out and tell you that the med beds are under security, not in a contract for the civilians. They know exactly where they're going and how they're getting there, and they will be on tight security. That narrative is falling too. So, what do I think you need to be paying attention to this week? Well, I'm going to tell you, Waltz, tick, tick, his days are numbered. You can't come back from this. And they knew that, and they were going to show that and display that. So that's the biggest process, is to watch and focus on Minnesota. But do you want to look at Minnesota representing true crime, how deep it can go, how far everybody can just turn their head and look the other direction? You want to pay attention if there's any trials out of this situation, or if they're just loading their asses up. I'm just telling you, you want to pay attention to all the details, because that is not the only city this has happened in. Look at New York. You're going to see that there too. And I almost have a hint that Colorado's involved in the same way with this situation too. So we're dealing with all the criminal process now. It's all collapsing. And you can't hold it up anymore. It's just got to let it collapse. There's no reason to get upset about it. You just stay in the stillness and let it fall to the ground. Because you've got to get used to this for a while. That's all you're going to see is criminal activity being exposed left and right consistently. And it's going to mess with you a little bit because you're just like, I can't trust anybody. I can't trust any society. And it really makes you want to go back and put everything in the hole again instead of taking it to the bank or anything. Everything you were attached to in your life was corrupted. They were preaching, all these societies were preaching to be good and do the right thing, and they were the ones doing everything wrong because it was all about control. So this is where we're at. What's next? So I talked about the sound. Seeing the pink fog everywhere, and that has been presented. And then this device has flew past us with frequency. What's next? There's a chain effect. It could create some urgent earthquakes because I think it has to do with Earth's core in this process. And then, so there's a chain effect of energy that changes. But also pay attention for things to seem at a different calmness in between the storm of the energy changing. That could happen too. So the next process, look for the sun. Look for the sun, but look for a brighter sun. Look for a more yellow sun, more that you feel rays of good frequency from it instead of you can't feel anything from it. When we were young, we just didn't, we just loved the sun, the way it felt and how it reflected to plants and everything. It hasn't felt that way in a couple of years. Pay attention to that because I'm hearing the sun again. So then it's sound. And then you want to pay attention to animals because it talks about that in the prediction, how animals just come out of nowhere, stand in the middle, not moving. Looks like they're focused on something. And I'm talking all kinds of different animals doing different things. They're going to hear a vibration first, a tone first. So pay attention to that. But, I think with the big party, what I've talked about is the XRP is the big party. Once that rings in and that's finally over with, that is the big celebration, the whole process, because that is the dismantling of the cabal completely across the board. And that means they have no more power. So I want you to imagine trying to get that kicked off and get everything lined up worldwide, what that takes to do that. To make sure you got one shot to do it right, to make sure it's done. And when that happens, I think there is going to go into that stillness process, the quietness process. Everybody's going to be in shock. And I actually think at that moment, everybody's going to realize the enslavement that we've been in. The ones that have not understood will understand at that moment. Because you'll feel a different freedom that comes after that. There will be no limitation, just expansion for humanity and everyone. And that's what will change. So, and that's why it's so important for that bell to ring and ring that in the golden age process. It's very important. So, and at that point, there has to be a calmness process coming in. So, I mean, looking for bells, symbols of bells towards that direction. And then look for different leaders of other countries, really getting closer to Trump, rallying around Trump, working with Trump, because that has to do with the whole council process being implemented. This old government process they're showing you it didn't work. It was all corrupted. That's what they're showing you. And now they're wanting the people to stand up for themselves, to speak. And you're seeing it worldwide. Really proud of the UK. Finally, the farmers had to do it, but they're doing it. They're not taking it. And that's the whole energy that needs to be a process in this whole world to show stand up. And so, and at the end of this is the thing I really believe that at the end of this, after all that is done and it's completely severed, and these people are looking at each other and are realizing everybody wants peace. That settles in. That's the process, and that's the thing that's important right now. And so when we get to that peace process, that's going to feel different with that energy here. But this is where you see the newer technology, then it's going to be shown in your face, advanced fast. And I'm telling you with the housing, for myself, I want a property. I do. I want a farm property again, but I want to build a higher technology home that has the advancements. And this is what you're seeing. It's not the big home that you need anymore. It is being a little more conservative and being aware of the outside environment and what you really need to make you content and be happy. That's what I want. And blend in with nature in the right way. And that's the whole thing that matters. So I'm telling you, don't buy vehicles right now. Don't buy homes. You just hold off on everything. Just hold off. Wait for some things to get done on this process, because that's what we need to do. Just hold off, hold the peace if you can. Just hold it. And now you're seeing the judges are getting arrested. Yes. It's a good thing. And police are being arrested. Yes. So that whole process is happening. And that's the whole thing about this. Minnesota to me is just it's the chain effect. It's the starting point of really seeing the most dirty process and then just everything falling down from that process, because that's going to have these extensions from Minnesota. Then every other state that's involved in that whole process is going to be annihilated too. You have to see what I think is going to happen with Minnesota. They can't trust them state-wise. They can't trust them federal. So the federal sheriff are going to have to come in and take over. It's so bad. It's saturated state-wise and federal. That is the process that's going on there. So we're going to see how this example takes over and see how they lock it down over there, because that's what's going to happen. But I guarantee you, after he resigns, you won't see him ever again, unless it's on an island. But they're also going to show the example of them, each one of these Democrats that got involved in this whole scheme of things, being put down. And I mean in the way they're going to trade each other in so fast. And that's where all the information is going to form. So, of course, a lot of us know how this is going to lay out in the first place. So, I need to, want you to look out, what are you in fear of right now? Because you can see in front of you what's falling apart, what's dismantling. There's no structure behind any of it anymore. No one's pushing or prodding you or making you do anything. So that's what's changing. So back to independently thinking and making your own choice and understanding what is freedom. What you'll take and what you'll settle with, and suppressing your voice, not saying anything has got us nowhere. And we should have stood up a long time ago. And this is where you need to use your voice at this time and sing and say it and don't hold back. And I'm telling you, everybody just needs to be raw and truthful, just like how I started tonight. Because I just said what everybody wanted to say, Ursula. So the whole process of this is we're at this, the cliff, and everything's falling over the cliff, and they're dumping it left and right, and you're seeing it, and then when you look back, you're gonna see what's left after you see all cleared out, all the shit out, everything. It's gonna settle down, and then you can make some good choices and breathe easy and be humble about it. Okay, let me look at some questions here. Yeah, beyond the ice wall. Oh, God, it's an addiction. So, and I'm not saying once the investment corporations, all that, are getting really hyped up on things and seeing things shifting and what you're seeing. But the one thing I've said, the Bitcoin, drop that, drop it now. I'm telling you, it's going to go down to the very bottom. You need to get rid of Bitcoin as fast as you can. That is not going to be in the investment. The metals, XRP, that's where you want to stay right now. Okay. So if you guys got a couple questions that are as in focused of what's coming in the next week, I want you can present those questions. What dimension do you need to be able to fly naturally? I don't know. I don't know flying. Well, you look at that's a 3D concept too. I don't know. Watch Star Trek, and they didn't have to fly anywhere. They just went through a door. God, I love this stuff. This is really good, you guys. I like how you just have to push it, and then I don't have to buy a bunch of bottles anymore. Look at that stuff. It's good. So anyway, will cities be safe for good people? Yes. And that's what they're already starting. And then you're cleaning them out. All the people in the country areas, you don't have to really worry about it because they pretty much know what's going on, and they're pretty good at clearing that out already. That was the whole process with everything else. The smaller cities could take care of themselves. Sedona's going to be fine. Will Trump be in a new year with a big, beautiful brass balls? Of course, but he'll have a team behind him, and Barron Trump might step up a little more in that public eye, doing what he needs to do. Everything's with exposing that's coming in 2026, and not just lightly putting it out there, just going to rip off the Band-Aid and throw it in front of your face process. Everybody's getting a cold. I was fine, and then my daughter got it, and now I'm starting to get it. Yeah, everybody's talking about the pink skies, pink fog. It's in the UK now. I'm moving to Sedona. Okay. Portland, Oregon. After everything is dried up, out of that area, then we'll restart over again. Yeah, it's going to get cleared out too. Mark Z is saying the RV is tomorrow. No one will know the hour or the day or the time. Closest thing you can do is go look at the Bible. It tells you about that. Yeah, they all moved to Colorado. Some of these libs. Yeah, this water bottle. I just get tired of buying bottles, and then I wanted something. I mean, you can get it online or whatever. This is the corporation. It works really good. This is the package that came in. So it's pretty good. I can take it anywhere. It recharges it anywhere. I thought I was going to have to leave it on my counter and recharge it that way, but it's pretty good. Hydrogen. And the med beds, you're starting to see the slow a slow process with the military bringing it out. And this is where they're going to start to put post. I'm going to say, I call them post. When that happens, then you're going to look at everything up by state and how they're going to put you on a list and how that works. None of these civilians knew anything. I want you to understand that. This was a military operations with these med beds. And they were always going to be in control of it, containing it. It'll be that way for a while. So if you've talked to or dealt with any of this process with saying they have med beds or you're on a list or you have to do all this, you got scammed. Jenny and Dan leaving the FBI. Well, I think they're starting to clean out the FBI. That is the problem. And be careful what you, again, don't assume till you get the whole story. They put what they want you to pay attention about what's going on right in front of you. And I'm like, always wait for a couple days and then you'll see the real story. So people that leave first, there's a reason. But are they running? That's what I'm saying. What are they running from? And why? Because usually if they're stepping away with the FBI, I'm thinking it's always corruption, right? Because let me tell you, Navy SEALs don't give up. Yeah, hydrogen is amazing. And when I started drinking it, I can feel my head just feel different as soon as I started drinking it. It's amazing. It's a good brand. Okay. Yeah, all I can say is hold your faith. But stay in the stillness, be calm with things. So I think the medbed's information, the real medbed information's already laying out, and now they're going to lay it out in layers because, like I said, everything has to be laid out in guidelines so the public can follow those guidelines, and that's what I think they're getting ready to do. The name of the company is hydrogenbottles.com. That's what it is. Comes in a blue container like that. It's a good one though. So what I've been picking up too, you've been seeing this cold front come in, and they're talking about this cold front and how everything's going to shift and all this stuff and all this water. I just got a feeling how this winter started, it's going to end, and it's going to get warmer quicker. I'd say in March, you're going to start to see warmer weather already as we go into April. I don't think we're in the months, like I said, that we think we are in the first place. I think everybody's saying that we are officially in March anyway. So how do we prepare for next week in this process? Prosecution, and keep an eye on Minnesota. I mean, that clown's going to stand up there and lie through his teeth, through his tampon forever and ever and ever and ever until they drag him out of the state building, period. Because let me tell you, the people around the state are getting pissed off. And they find out all the corruption there. And then the 2020 election, Tim Tampon didn't win. So we're going to see if they're going to implement Mike in that position that he was supposed to be in the first place. Let's see if they change him out real quick. I wouldn't be surprised on that process. And I'm sure that Omar is going to have to step down. And I mean, I don't think she's worried about fighting laws anymore. I think she's worried about being thrown back to her own country right now. But that's not going to happen because she's going to be in jail for a long time. So that, I mean, it's not just her. They're all involved in it. They're all a part of it. That was the whole deal with this situation. They're all involved in it. But again, what part of the show are we watching? So, if I had to focus on anything, it's watching Minnesota, watching the FBI, and seeing what they're doing with the IRS. Those are the three big chess pieces we need to be paying attention to. And then after that process to a certain point, that's what I want to see. That XRP, to me, the XRP would be the Christmas gift. Ring in that XRP. Yeah, you guys need a Phoenix area should form a meetup group. That would be good. So we're at a process where we have to think on our own because everything around you is falling apart, guys. And there's no intimidation on anything because no one's pushing laws anymore because they can't. Because they're breaking them themselves. The military's in Colorado. Oh, yeah. That's going to be another showdown. Who's Barry? Barry is dead. Gold is $5,000 per ounce. I'm hearing that silver is going to get to $600 an ounce. Is that insane? Oh, yeah. So I'm telling you, get on the copper ride because that's going to go up too. Buy it now. Okay. Well, I just want to call on and give you some of this information. I vented a little bit, but I was just looking at that post today, and that sea witch is getting bad. So you guys go over there, give some support to Dr. Sala, what he's doing and changing things and going in a good direction on this process. What he's looking at evidence to the core now and paying attention to details. So I think that's a good thing. So anyway, you guys have a good night. Stay in the light. Take care. See you on the other side.